Today, we're going to talk about mirrors, mirrors as other people, how we work with mirrors, practices as mirrors, all of the things, right? And I am currently a mirror to you, sitting right in front of you right now, right? My books on my shelf, my ritual blanket hanging behind me, the things that I'm wearing, the way that I'm talking to you, the way that I'm showing up in this moment. This is all a mirror to you and your experience. And what does that mean? And how do we work with it? This is a great question. And I'm really excited to get into it with you. So, thank you for being here. Hi, hello. My name is Mackenzie, and I help people trust themselves through uncertain situations and catch their patterns that are keeping holding them back um and not abandon themselves halfway through the process, the messy process of life, right? Welcome to Big Love Studio, and I'm happy that you're here. Fully, truly mean that. So, um, really happy that you're here. Like, comment, contribute to the community that we're building here, with your kindness, with your wisdom, with all of the things that you bring into this world. Let me know what you think. And if you have more questions, I love to respond to questions. I love to clarify. I will make more videos. Um, Based on things that you're thinking about. And I'm really excited to be here with you. So, let's get into it. Today, we are talking about mirrors. Mirrors as people, mirrors as your dog, your cat, your horse, your as your relationship with nature, as your yoga practice, as you sitting here watching this video and me talking to you right now. So, what is a mirror? We're going to try to get into the explanation of this. Okay, so I might fumble through it, but that's what we do here. So, um, we don't need to show it perfectly. I tell myself as I take a nice deep breath. So, mirrors as other people in the world, as your pet and how you work with your pet, as your yoga practice. What I would say, when I was teaching my yoga classes is that every day that you show up to your yoga practice, whether that's in a studio, at your home, wherever, the mat is a mirror. What does that mean? What does that mean? Every day that you get on the yoga mat, you may notice something different. And it might be that yesterday you had a hamburger for dinner and your belly's feeling a little something, right? We love a hamburger, so no shame. It might be that you had a fight with your partner last night and you're feeling the residual energy of that in your body, right? As you get on the mat this morning, right? Or this afternoon or whenever, right? It might be that you had a really hard day at work and there was some tough stuff that happened and you're feeling it in this practice right now. The mat is a mirror to whatever your life experience is today and in this present moment. And we we get to decide as much as we can. We get to decide how we want to meet that mirror. Now, we can meet it with a lot of self criticism, a lot of self judgment, Or we can do what I like to do and notice without judgment and with compassion and empathy. We don't have to fix anything that we see in this mirror, but we can notice it with curiosity, with compassion, with non judgment, not bringing the critic into the picture with us, but just noticing like, oh, man, when I do that stretch, I'm feeling a little discomfort in my calves, or I'm feeling like the tension in my jaw and my shoulders today. This doesn't have to mean anything. You don't even have to identify where that's coming from. I don't think, because sometimes when we start to like identify things, we over intellectualize things. Um, but what does it feel like in the body? Do we feel like our mind is running a million miles an hour today? It's okay. Just notice it, right? Everything, all these feelings are temporary, right? And it doesn't mean that we don't act on it later if we want to like shift something, or, we want to change something about what's happening here. But in that moment, we're just going to notice it, right? Sometimes we get into like over fixing mode. We don't have to get into all of that, right? So I would tell my students this when they would come into yoga practice, right? Every day, the mat is a mirror, right? What do you notice? Not judging it, just being with it, right? Giving yourself some empathy for whatever is coming up right now, right? In the same way, other people are a mirror to our experience. And that can mean that the person that pisses you off and annoys you and makes you feel, and just is like, I don't know why, right? I don't know why this person annoys me, right? And I don't know why I'm like so ticked off from this person. We're not talking about like, if they're actually, if they're saying things that are like unkind, that's a very different situation. But I'm just talking about the person that like annoys you, that's like in the grocery line in front of you or something, or the cashier like is being really loud at the grocery store and kind of like cackling and being big and like, all of this stuff, and just they're fine, they're enjoying their life, but it annoys the shit out of you. That's a mirror. And the question that I might ask you, if you came to me and you said, God, I hate this cashier at the grocery store, they're really like annoying me right now, I would say, how comfortable do you feel taking up the amount of space that the cashier did? How comfortable do you feel in your body being loud, being open, being big? Do you feel comfortable doing that in public? That might be why they annoyed you. There could be like a million different ways, right? But do they have a nose piercing and you would never do that, right? Because that feels uncomfortable to you. Does it feel uncomfortable to you because it is like seen as other somehow in your head, right? When people have tattoos or piercings or something that's like visible, and that makes them stand out in a different way than you feel comfortable with, right? Just because somebody has those things doesn't mean that you have to have those things, but it is a reflection of something that might feel like might be something in your own head, right? Maybe it's something that you've learned in the past from, caregivers, or where you grew up or something like that. But it is a mirror, right, to what is inside you. It doesn't mean the other person is wrong at all. It just means that it is bringing up something within you that's uncomfortable. And honestly, the people who um, annoy us, they are our biggest mirrors, right? And they are the places that we can learn a lot from. And like I said, I'm not talking about people who are calling names or like any like that kind of thing. That's not really what we're talking about. I'm just talking about like, I don't know why I'm so annoyed by this person, right? We're not talking about unsafe people here, anything like that. I'm talking, it's a nuanced thing about um it's the people that you're like, I don't even know why they annoy me so much, right? Those people. You are experiencing a mirror right now as you're looking at me, right? As you're listening to me. The way that the inflections in my voice and like the way that my hair is right now and my jewelry and my background and all of that stuff is just a mirror for you, right? Is there anything in this video right now that you feel uncomfortable with, right? That's okay. That's okay. This is just a mirror, right? And are there things that you're like, oh, I relate to that so much. I feel really good. And like how she talks to me and stuff. Then you're probably seeing something that you relate to. Whatever you see in me that you like or you love or in my background that feels like you resonate with, that's also in you. How cool is that? Right? Mirrors don't have to be hard shit, right? They can be really lovely things. That's why you love your best friends the way that you love them, right? Or like love this one family member or admire someone, right? But I'm here to tell you that anything you admire in someone else is already within you. How cool is that? And it's a tough one sometimes. Sometimes those are the hardest mirrors, right? Because we have to accept ourselves on a different level. But your dog, your pet, an animal that you know and love is also a mirror for you. And I'll tell you a story about Peaches, my lovely Springer Doodle. She's gonna turn 9 tomorrow as I'm filming this. So you'll see this after she's turned 9, but I've had her since she was a puppy, so it feels like a big deal. So anyway, in 2020, I took on the task of learning how to groom Peaches, my doodle. And if you know anything about doodle hair, doodle hair grows like our hair does. And oftentimes groomers are like, oh, you should bring your doodle in every 6 weeks, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Every 6 weeks to get groomed. And because they have matting and they have different things that their their fur is like different than like a let's see, a lab or a golden retriever or something. Golden retrievers can get mats too, but doodles get mats like crazy. It's wild. Um at least she does cuz she's very active too. But I took on the task of learning how to groom Peaches, right? Because honestly, I was tired of paying the grooming bill over and over again. I understand now why it costs as much as it does, but I was pretty tired of paying the bill and I thought, well, I'm home anyway, so I might as well like learn how to do this. Whew. What a mirror that was, that whole experience. Basically, what happened is as we started out, we were in the I had her in the bathtub and we were just mad at each other. We neither of us wanted to be there. She didn't want to be groomed. When I took her to the groomer, she would lay down in the middle of the parking lot and then she would shake so hard and I would literally have to pick her up. She's 50 pounds, so she's not tiny, but I would have to pick her up and carry her into the groomer because she would lay down and not let me go any further. And she would shake and whine and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is terrible." So I thought, well, it's got to be better if I do it myself. It wasn't better. Not initially. It was not better. Um she has higher anxiety because I have had anxiety for a very long time, right? And she has higher anxiety and uh I was anxious doing it. I was scared that I was going to hurt her sometimes like in certain, delicate areas. Um I was I was like mad that I had to do it even though I chose to do it. Also a mirror, isn't that? And I would get frustrated that she needed breaks, right? And I didn't want to put her on a grooming table because I knew she already like knew what that was and didn't love it. So we did it in the bathtub, which also was terrible for my back. So I felt ugh, right? I wasn't asking my partner for help because I was doing this like martyr thing because has he's like technically allergic to dogs, but he's pretty fine with her like most of the time. And so I was like, "Oh no, it's fine. I can do it." Even though I didn't want to do it alone. Also a mirror, not being able to like ask for help, right? And for a while I just struggled through that, right? And we would get really mad at each other and I would be like, "Stop, just like please, like do this thing," I'm like begging her to go longer. And you know, I'm not super proud of that time, but I can tell you because I'm on the other side of it, um, that I have figured out how to work with that a lot differently. And it was a really hard mirror, which is why I think I got so frustrated and so like ugh like about it because um it was a hard mirror to look at, you know? I wasn't able to ask for help in that moment. I was trying to do some kind of like martyr thing. I was like mad at her because she needed breaks, which is a direct reflection of me and not feeling mad at myself for needing breaks and needing to take time and feeling anxious. Um I was I was like unsure and so I was scared and I like wasn't honoring the fact I was scared. I was just trying to override it and push through, right? And I was trying to get her to push through on top of that when she was scared. And I don't love any of this, right? But what this taught me over many years, because now we're what, 6 years in to my grooming experience, and I have a very different relationship with her now, right? First of all, we switched our location. So we were no longer in the bathtub, which was much better, right? I sit on the floor. She is not harnessed or anything, right? We don't even have a collar on her now. And she comes and sits in my lap. I asked my partner for help. And so he always does it with me now. He gently holds her And I do the trimming, and I trust the clippers. I trust my skill now. I can go through it fairly quickly, but we also let her like walk away when she needs to, shake it off when she needs to. And you know what? She comes back because we're not fighting anymore. Sometimes we put on really nice, relaxing music. I take breaths and make sure I'm regulated while I'm doing it. So I'm not anxious like on top of all of this. And she walks back over to me and we start again. And sometimes she's just done. And you know what? That means that we're done because I don't feel like at one point I felt like, well, I just want to get it done. I just want to get it done because I want to be done with this, right? I want to get this done as fast as possible. And because groomers do it in one session, I should be able to do it in one session, right? No. No. That was a very high standard to put on myself, right? And so now we go 3 to 5 sessions. And she looks a little goofy in between. Like right now, she's got like long Grinch paws. Everything else on her body is cut, but she's got like little long Grinch fingers, right? And it's very funny, but we are okay with that, right? She went on a hike the other day. She's out in public like that, right? Um and I'm not worried about it because you know what? What is more important to me is that she feels safe, she feels relaxed, and we do things in a way that um we're not fighting to get it done, right? What imaginary deadline is this, right? All of this is just a mirror to how my relationship is with myself right now and my nervous system. When I was going into those grooming moments 6 years ago, I was stressed. I just wanted to get it done as quickly as possible because I had some imaginary deadline in my head that made me think that if I don't get this done, if I don't do this perfectly, I don't do this well, then, and I can't do it in the same amount of time that a professional is doing it, then I'm not good enough. What kind of like, that's such a high standard, right? Now I'm just like, you know what? If we get her cut and she feels better in her body, that's all I care about. And she feels better in the process of doing it, I'm okay with that. And she's a lot calmer because I'm a lot calmer. And I show up not because I have a lot more skills now. That's part of it, sure. But it's it's more that I am calm in my body. I give myself breaks now. I offer myself, like, you can be done. And today you might be done sooner than you were yesterday. And that's fine. We don't even need to worry about it. So it is all a mirror of where I am now and what relationship I have with myself, right? When I come up against those moments that I am uncomfortable with what's happening, when I'm uncomfortable with uh when I'm uncomfortable with the person at the grocery store, when I'm uncomfortable with uh what I'm noticing on my yoga mat in the morning, and when I'm uncomfortable like in these moments that I'm grooming Peaches, right? I think to myself, what here needs to be acknowledged and listened to? What needs a little care, a little gentleness, a little hug? right? And do I want to do anything with it, right? Maybe I don't love that I'm feeling uncomfortable about somebody's piercings or tattoos or whatever. Who am I to judge what they have on their body? I don't know, right? But there's something deeper there, right? What am I not comfortable with in myself that I'm seeing in them? And um and that can be something like I don't feel comfortable taking up space or being different in this world because that doesn't feel safe to me. And maybe I want to be. And I don't feel like I have permission to do that. Well, who gives me permission to show up how I want to in the world? I do, right? I do. So, um, these are the mirrors around us, right? And within us. And um, when we are coming up against some kind of discomfort, is this a mirror that I can learn from? Probably, right? It doesn't mean that you have to be hyper vigilant in the way that like, oh, everything is a mirror, so now I have to learn from everything. That is also, I think, a stress response, right? Us being hyper vigilant or like trying to be the best at self-awareness. Trying to be the best at something that is you know, uh like when we're trying to be like the best at something, I think there's something else happening there. We'll have to get into that in a different video. Um but what is it if there's something that's like really bugging you, right? Like you had an interaction with someone and you're like, why is this bugging me so much? Look at yourself and what it's bringing up in you. And I want you as much as you can to be gentle with that side of yourself, right? Gentle with the places that um you've the things that you've learned growing up, because more often than not we need to be gentle with ourselves in order for us to move through it, right? Shaming yourself and guilting yourself through it usually doesn't work. I can promise you I've tried. But what is coming up that you feel very uncomfortable about that is literally not affecting you or your life because that person in the grocery line was like wearing a mini skirt and you've never felt like you were able to wear a mini skirt before, right? Or you had permission to wear a mini skirt, or they're they're you know, they're dressed in a way that you wouldn't do, right? And you feel really mad or uncomfortable or annoyed by that. That is probably something within yourself that is like you never got permission that you could like wear clothes like that in that way, right? And what would it be like to explore that side of yourself? Get curious. See what's there, right? Curiosity with compassion, with empathy, with non judgment, right? I guarantee that if you're judging someone else, you're judging yourself much harder. Often, what I've seen happen is that the biggest bully that's in our lives is within us. And you can move through and release as many relationships as you want, but if the bully is inside of your head, then you're never going to get away from the bully until you do something about that bully, right? We'll talk about that in the next video. Okay. I love you. Be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, And please, um, and if you have any questions, if you want me to elaborate further on things, I love those comments. Bring your kindness, bring your wisdom to the community in the comments, and I'm happy that you're here. Okay. I'm sending you a lot of big love. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.